No. but
Call
I've
to
seen the
order the
picture.
special call Board of Directors meeting for the Siloam Springs Board of Directors, January 9, 2024. Roll call.
Hunt.
Here.
Miles.
Here.
Blair.
Here.
Chrysler.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Miley.
Here.
Allen.
Do you have the prayer? At this time, if you all will please stand with me as Director Carroll leads us in a word of prayer, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, tonight we give thanks for the opportunity to represent our city, our community, represent the people. That we can make the choices, the decisions that will be the best for all of us involved. We can look to you to bring it to fruition. We can know that we can rest within your will. We thank you for this week and the weather that you have given to us, and that you have also given us the way to get through whatever you bring. We give thanks for this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to ask that anyone that has an electronic device, please silence that so that we don't have an interruption during the meeting and while the speakers are at the podium. Thank you for that. At this time, it is public input time. So is there anyone here that would like to address the board on an item that is not on our regular board agenda? Please come and give us your name and address.
My pleasure. It's Arthur Holbert, 20705 Highway 16, Siloam Springs, President of Siloam Springs Chamber of Commerce. This will serve as my kind of 3-minute overview, a quarterly report, and then kind of some things to expect for 2024. So appreciate each of you all. It's been a great 2023. Expect 2024 to be even better. A lot of the work we've done some RFIs, working with the Northwest Council, also University of Arkansas with some of their grants for some of our local businesses. Also, most recently, we're working on something pretty significant with CPKC, which is Canadian Pacific, Kansas City Southern. They're looking at growing some economic development in the region, and right now we have one of the best pieces of rail in America. So they came to Siloam Springs and came to the chamber, met with us, so there's some opportunity there. That's really about all I can say about that. Our makerspace, basically, right now I think we have the largest 3D printer that's functioning in the state of Arkansas. University of Arkansas, basically the one they were using broke, so their research and development with their architecture interior design program are now doing a research project in Siloam Springs, University of Arkansas. So I thought that was cool. We've done some regional surveys for the Northwest Council. You guys really appreciate the community coming out for the Pool Siloam. That was very well attended. I think our administrator gave a report last time, so I'm not going to repeat that. So it was very, very well received in the community, and thank you guys for your support on that. Let's see, Hispanic outreach, we're still working on doing that with some Spanish interpretation services, some outreach. We did our Smart Start grant, as you guys know. We gave away $10,000, and I appreciate it because of the relationship we have with the city that we're able to do things like that, along with our, we really didn't have any sponsors for that. We really just were able just to give that to the community, $10,000 to 6 deserving businesses and applicants. At a women's conference, you guys know, we did some cybersecurity training, some QuickBooks training. Let's see, and that's that. We have our annual banquet coming up on February 1st. Love to see you guys there. Love to see the public there. We're doing something I'm sure no one here can relate to. On January 18th, we're having a stress in the workplace with a local professional counselor. I also want to say on the Pool of Siloam Springs, one thing that made me real proud is that every bit of the art was done by local artists. So that was wonderful, and we were able to raise some money and pay them to do that. So very fortunate to use our local artists. We're also having Frank Bloom. We're going to be doing a cryptocurrency training at the Chamber too on January 23rd. It's becoming pretty big globally, And so we have someone that knows quite a bit about that. I may be done in my last 24 seconds. Western Benton County Partnership, I've been the board chair of that, still a part of that, working on workforce, broadband, infrastructure. And last but not least, we have the Dogwood Festival last week in April, and 10 seconds to spare. Any questions?
Chamber banquet?
Yes, February 1st at John Brown University. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthur. Anyone else? There is not. Is there anyone that would like to address the board on an item that is on our consent agenda? There being no one, we will move forward with the consent agenda. Item A, regular meeting minutes, December 19, 2023. B, pre-agenda meeting minutes, January 3rd, 2024. Item C, Resolution 01-24, development permit fees. Item D, approval, consents in lieu of annual corporate meeting for the SSWRC. Item E, approval, consents in lieu of annual corporate meeting, IWRC. Item F, approval, GRDA financing of AMI meters, $862,661.56. That does conclude our consent agenda. Directors, is there any item that you would like to have pulled for separate consideration? If not, do I have a motion to place to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call.
Wiles.
Yes.
Chrysler.
Yes.
Smiley. Yes. Blair.
Yes.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Allen.
Consent agenda is approved. Next on our agenda, contracts and approvals. Item G, reduction of master street plan right-of-way needs, University Street between Washington and Hico. Kevin?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the board. Kevin Moore, City Engineer. Tonight for your consideration is a proposed reduction in the master street plan right-of-way width for University Street. This is the section east of downtown and east of Sager Creek from Washington Street to Hico. And you can see here on our master street plan map, and we'll zoom in on this. Staff is supporting of the request of the applicant to retain only 60 feet and not dedicate any additional right-of-way in this circumstance. This is kind of a unique area because of the disjoint between University Street and Ashley Street here. And staff feels that it's likely that we would declassify University Street, at least on this portion, to a major local in the future. The 60 feet that they're proposing matches existing as well as recent minor subdivisions along the same stretch of street, and it would accommodate the future reduction to major local. And staff is available for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Directors, comments or questions? If none, is there anyone in the audience that would like to have a question about this reduction of the master street plan? There being none, directors, do I have a motion to approve this reduction of the master street plan as presented?
So moved?
Second. We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Hunt.
Yes.
Wiles.
Yes.
Chrysler.
Yes.
Smiley. Yes. Carroll.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Allen.
Motion is approved. Next, item H, budget amendment, solid waste division, purchase of ProPack 2R185 2-ram baler from Marin Balers and Shredders for $286,137. Kevin? I'm Jason, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know, let's
Yeah.
make Jason do it. What do you say?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, does anybody have any questions about the purchase of the baler? I'm here to answer.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Kevin. I mean, Ken. I don't know. Pick a name.
Need to start over?
I can bring
Probably.
Kevin up if you need.
Just go with it, okay?
I'm just going to make a comment, observation. After the last well, last week we had our pre-agenda. I went up and spent some time with Jason. And the baler we've got is terrible, to be kind. It is a tremendous safety hazard. And so we definitely need one. Jason and I talked at length about efficiencies and just what things would look like as we moved on. And Jason, I don't want to put you on the spot, but that's what I'm doing. I'm sorry. Honestly, I would really think it would be best for the needs of the city now and moving forward if we purchased 2 of these balers. And I know that's a lot of money. I know the last time you said, well, that's what one would cost, basically, if we went with any other company. So if you can just quickly, and you don't have to go into great detail, but speak to the opportunity and the efficiencies of running 2
Yes, sir.
instead of 1, and just give the board and the public a little bit better understanding.
Yes, sir. So as I've said in the past, with the current balers, we have 2 in the facility. We have one that we bale cardboard and fibers in one room. The other room, we bale aluminum and steel and attempt to bale plastics there. What we need now is something for the cardboard because we're only doing about 18 bales a day. With this new baler, we'll be able to do about 18 an hour is what we're looking at. So the other baler, on the other side, we're having to hold items going up the belt. So a guy's kind of standing on the side, pushing a broom up the belt and climbing on top of the baler to make sure those products go in there. So there is a need for 2. I do agree with that. It would be very beneficial for us, especially now that we're actually baling all the materials here at the city, where before we weren't baling everything here. Like, we were only baling cardboard here, and to be able to collect the most revenue for all the other products, I am now baling everything I can here, but I'm doing it with piecework on this other baler, if you will. So that's where we are with one baler versus 2.
Jason, also, if you would tell them, we actually, just from recommendations and the conversation we had a pre-agenda, give them a breakdown of that we would have a savings if we bought 2.
Absolutely. I did reach out to the company and ask them if there would be a discount if we purchased 2. They said they don't do that. I asked nicely, and they said they would do that for me. So, so we got a saving of 3% per baler. So,
Which I,
Madam Mayor, so is that the amount that, did you read the 3% discount price? Your price was a little bit different than what's on our agenda.
so what that price is including shipping and,
Okay, the 303 includes.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is a total of 303.
yes, the baler itself is the 287. Then you
Okay.
have the training and the shipping.
So is that the 3% off price? Or no, because you're just asking for 1 now?
ma'am.
Okay.
I think it was a
Let me make sure I understand.
$9,000 savings, if I remember right.
The 303 is for 1.
For one.
Madam Mayor?
Madam Mayor?
Yes. I do have one more question. So I'm assuming this would sort of have a domino effect in terms of just efficiency and what, even in other areas of sanitation. So that would be a good thing. The other question I have is, because you could do more,
Yes, ma'am.
would that help you be able to unload the dumpsters that are there on site a little bit faster?
The recycled dumpsters,
The
yes, ma'am.
recycled dumpsters,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. That would be very helpful. I've gone on before, and I can't get anything in.
And the reason why, because we weren't able to bale anything there because the baler won't go up the chute.
Right,
So now that I'm trying to get the material there, I've got bins just stacked inside there that I'm waiting to bale because we don't have a good baler.
well, and unfortunately, even when it's full, that just means people leave it on the ground.
Yes, ma'am.
And it gets to be a little
Yes, ma'am.
tacky in that area.
Well, especially now that we moved outside, right?
Right,
You know, because
right.
we've already seen an uptick, which I knew we would see an uptick in increased recycling. So that's the whole point, is to get the more commodities in there, then be able to get those sent out and make a better profit.
That would be very helpful. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Ken?
Madam Mayor, I would like to, however we need to do it, just suggest, make a motion, amend his request. I'd like us to purchase 2 of these, so I guess I want to make a motion that we purchase 2 instead of 1.
So you want to increase the budget amendment to, I guess it's going to be double this, is that correct? What are we talking about that we want to put in
Mayor,
this?
if I may,
Yes.
I'm trying to be clear. Kevin, when I talked to you the other day, it was 303,230, less 3%.
I'm just going to bring him up. I'm going to bring Kevin up
You
here.
guys got me started, and I was going to do it on purpose, and I didn't do that on purpose.
See, I tried to help you.
You guys got me off recess this, Mayor. But, I'm sorry, Jason, but 303,230, less 3%, correct?
Correct.
So if my math is correct, that would be less $9,096.90. So for one each, we would get 3% off each baler. So the cost for each baler would be $294,133.10. So it'd be a cost of 9,000 less 3% is $9,096.90.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I have some questions.
Okay. So you're going to make a motion to amend the budget?
Or 2.
Okay. So I'm not going to ask for a second at this point until we go ahead and let Lisa ask her question.
If we have 2, what does that do for manpower?
It'll actually be much easier for manpower. So right now, the guy's having to stop the baler, get out from the back of the baler, tie the bale, open it up, get a forklift, move the bale. It's a long process.
Right.
This, I could have one guy working by himself, loading on one baler, and the other guy working, loading on another baler, and he's not having to stop, get out, manually tie it. It'll do all that for you. It'll kick the bale out to the side. It can keep kicking out until it hits a wall, essentially, so.
So right now you have 2 people on one machine,
like-
and you can
well-
have 1 person on each machine.
Yeah, so right now I have 2 people on the one that's broken, that's terrible. I have actually 2 people on the cardboard one, but it's just temporary because we got some trustee helping with that right now. But normally it's just one person, and he's having to get off his equipment, which we have to use a backhoe to kind of feed the cardboard onto it. So he's having to get off the backhoe, go to the back, do the whole process, so.
Okay. So obviously you've discussed the budget 1. Have you looked at the budget for 2, and what does that do for our budget? for
It'd be a
2024?
budget amendment for my
Would be a
department.
budget amendment, okay. And, sorry, couldn't read my notes because I'm blind. If we have 2, are we going to have enough material, or does having 2?
Yeah.
Or are we?
No, we'll
well,
definitely have enough material, definitely.
Because
have
it's mostly recycling.
enough. Yes, ma'am.
Do you think this will help increase the recycling? Because I know one of the biggest complaints, which I've called you lots on, is what Mindy mentioned, was getting the material picked up.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
we'll be able to pick it up more efficiently?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
More, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of people call us as directors, and they say, man, you guys spend a lot of money, and do you ever know how to say no? And do you ever know how to, live within your means? And so I do want to point out that you have saved the city a lot of money.
Yes, ma'am.
In your position. When you came in and you did a lot of cost savings for the city. And so because of that and everything that you've done, I've been impressed, and I know there's a lot of people in the community that have been impressed, and I really like the ideas that you're bringing to our community.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I would like to second that emotion.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Carol?
So this was not originally in our '24 budget,
No, ma'am.
correct?
No,
So
ma'am.
we're adding 1, and now we're wanting to add 2.
Yes, ma'am.
But the 2 will make us more efficient.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we save any money?
Well, so, I mean, that's the thing. We're going to be able to make money where we weren't making
Okay.
money. So we're not saving, we're
We're
making.
increasing our revenue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, Director, if I may, last year, we're looking at zero revenue. Our projection this year is $500,000. Doing a lot more things in-house. A lot of our recycling has been going to another company. That's where we're losing money because we're bringing aluminum cans and other things in, and we're transporting them in, then we're transporting them out, and then when they're baled somewhere else, they're brought back to us. So that's where, if I remember, we were making $200 a bale, and now we're looking anywhere from $600 to $800 a bale, doing them in-house ourselves. So I feel like we'll make that money back because we'll have the equipment to do it.
Correct.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
this does sound like it's more cost efficient.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
So as it stands, we have a motion and a second to amend the budget amendment to purchase 2 of the Propack balers. And going by the numbers that you quoted, Alan, it looks like that's going to be a total of $588,266.20. That sound right for my first and second? So we have a motion and we have a second. Roll.
Hunt.
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Yes. Grisler.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Smiley.
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Motion is approved. Next is I, Contract Solid Waste Division Fleet Buyback Program, 5 sanitation vehicles, $340,013.04. Jason?
Yes, ma'am. So the first thing I'd like to address is there was an email that was kind of pushed around last week with the vehicles that I'm purchasing, with these vehicles that we're purchasing, is going through Sourcewell on the contract. The vehicles that we're purchasing, the current dealers in the area aren't able to sell a few of these trucks, one in particular that we're really wanting, and the cost savings on that and time savings on that is more than, I would say, sufficient. It's a good company. I've worked with them for many, many years, these guys right here. So I'll open up to any questions that anybody has.
Thank you. Directors, questions? If not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address this fleet buyback program proposal? If not, directors, do I have a motion to approve?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I do
Wendy?
have one question. We started the lease program with the police cars a few years ago, and
That is
that's
correct.
worked pretty well, right?
Very well.
Okay. So I like this idea of the leasing and then really always having newer vehicles as a result, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. And if there's any questions, if you guys want to, the AME, the ones that are selling the vehicles, they actually came up, they drove up here today to answer any questions that you guys may have. So if you have something now or after the meeting, they'll be more than happy to answer those questions.
Okay.
And that's a great question, Director, too. And Chief's here in case you need I need backup. But one of the things we did when I became chief is our fleet was in such bad shape. Even if we got 3 or 4 cars a year, it was going to take us 5, 6 years to get caught up. By that time, those cars were old. We ended up getting 10 to 12, if I remember right, somewhere in there. That way, we fix our fleet. And then at the end of that time, we were able to buy those cars, and it's really helped. I think this is the same thing.
Yes.
Well, and we've had a lot of issues
Yes.
with our vehicles and sanitation.
Absolutely. I mean, not to go on and drag this out very long, but we absolutely need this. And for the few that have seen the condition of some of the vehicles that are in the sanitation department, this is a must. And this is the only way to really do it and get us kind of back on track where we can start making collections properly.
And the end game is to provide a better service for our
Absolutely.
citizens. And so I think whatever we can do to make that happen.
Yes, ma'am. And these trucks that we're getting are different than what the city of Siloam has ever had before. And it's going to bring us into that 21st century is what I like to say, so.
And one of the things that we've had trouble with is these trucks that we have been breaking down. We're really lucky to get the trade-in value that we're getting for what we have is really helping. That drives that when we buy them down. We're really excited, to be able to get a whole fleet, to be able to provide our citizens with the service they deserve. One of the things, and that Jason can check, I get a lot of complaints that dumpsters and different things aren't being picked up. We're not hiding it. We've had issues. There's been no
One of these
schedule.
trucks going to be for the dumpster pickup?
Yes, actually,
Yes.
2 of these trucks are going to be for the dumpster pickup.
Okay, good, because that was one of the
Right.
biggest.
It-
Yes, ma'am.
Just to be honest with everyone, we haven't had a schedule. We haven't had a schedule that we can find in years. So we're having dumpsters that haven't been picked up because we don't know where they're at or they're not on the schedule and we lose them. Jason, I've tasked him with that, and he's been working diligently with his staff to get that done. There's times where dumpsters are being picked up 3 times in a week, and they're only being charged once, or they're not being charged, and that's a lot of reason we're losing revenue. A lot of people that have the dumpsters, they're getting a lot of things for free. And then by the time we find dumpsters, the dumpsters have been rotted. Am I speaking correctly,
No,
Jason?
you're correct. You're correct. We're working very diligently to correct the problem. It was one of the first things that I really got looking at when I got here. And I've got my crew, I've tasked a couple of them that he's taking a laptop out with him every day and typing in the addresses and the days that they're going. And now we got to cross-reference how many days they're going versus how many days they're paying for, and get a hold of those businesses and let them know that, you know, you're being picked up 3, but you're only being charged for 1. If you would like to continue that, 2 extra day service, this is what the cost adjustment will be. So
Do you have a schedule completed already?
the schedule is very close. It is very hard to do because you have different routes. So I'm having to have a guy go out and dedicate a guy to go out with just 1 truck for a week, and then he's got to go out with another truck for a week. And then we got to put it all into a spreadsheet, break down the billing part of
Do you
it.
not have it in the system for the billing to pull out the?
We
from it-
do, but it's
the
not
data?
right.
Oh, the data in the system,
No,
where you
it's-
come here
it's
and
not
sign
right.
up, is not correct in the system?
Nothing's right.
Okay, why, an efficient way to do it.
Again, I'm just being honest with you. It's something that I'm working really hard to correct, so.
When the schedule is completed, can we make sure everyone knows the schedule?
Sure.
Because you know, and Alan knows, I get tons of calls. And so now I drive around every week to the dumpsters to make
Yes,
sure
ma'am.
the dumpsters are being picked up.
Yes, ma'am.
And so if we can get that schedule, that would be great. And
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate that every time I call, because I get a call, you guys are right on it.
Yes, ma'am, we try. Thank you.
That's it. We're just trying to correct it. We've dropped the ball in some instances, and, we're gonna correct it. We're gonna get it right.
Madam Mayor, one more question. Was this in the budget and approved, or is this a budget amendment as well?
So the money that we have in there was approved for a truck. We're just reallocating that to the lease.
Okay, so the total amount was?
Yes, we have that in the budget.
Okay.
The only thing that I want to add
We
is.
have a note about that, but I didn't see a note this time, so.
Should be in that memo.
The one other thing that I want to add is I did speak with Arvest today, and they are able to do a little bit lower of an interest rate with the same stipulations that Cadence Bank has offered us. So I'm going to have them work that together, and then if you guys approve that, I'll have that signed. So, but it'll save us a little money. It's 0.5%, I believe.
Anyone else? If not, do I have a motion to approve the contract for the buyback program, the amount of $340,013.04?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Miles,
Yes.
Chrysler,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes?
Blair,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Smiley.
Yes.
Thank you, Board, Mayor.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, sir. Motion is approved. Next item is J, contract, Police Department, utility, in-car, and body-worn cameras, $628,200. Chief Miller.
Madam Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Scott Miller, Chief of Police. We are requesting contract approval and purchase approval for utility for 42 in-car cameras and 52 body-worn camera systems and accessories in the amount of $628,200. It is our intent to enter a 5-year contract with utility, spreading out the cost over the 5-year period, with the initial payment being budgeted in the 24 capital outlay of $255,000, and then $94,230 in each preceding year. The contract includes the 42 in-car camera systems, the 52 body-worn camera systems, the 52 holster sensor systems, the CAD integration and activation software, including the hardware licensing, data storage and retrieval, warranty, and support services. And I'm available for any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Chief. Directors, comments or questions?
Madam Mayor?
Cindy?
Sorry, I'm talking so much tonight. I think this is another thing that's been in the works for quite a while, hasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And it's another thing that we're asking our citizens to spend a lot of money for, but it's something that will protect our citizens and it will protect our staff.
Correct. I mean,
And-
it is vital in today's world.
It definitely, and so I think it's time that we do something like this. So, thank you for your work on it.
Anyone else? If not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to have comments or questions about this contract for the police department? There is not. Directors, any further comments or questions? Do I have a motion to approve the contract for the $628,200 for the cameras for the police department?
So moved?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Hunt.
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Yes. Chrysler.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Smiley.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Thank you all very much. Next is our ordinances. First is ordinance 23-32, third reading, amending City Code Section 70-3, discharge of firearms or weapons. Helen, are you, or Chief Miller, are you going to present on this?
This is the third and final reading of the amending the section code 70-3, discharge of firearms and weapons within the city, just adjusting the code to make for exceptions for the lawful use of a discharging of a weapon in the defense of others or in the performance of the duties by a certified law enforcement officer. And I'm available for any questions if you have them.
Thank you, sir. Directors? There being none, is there anyone in the audience that has any comments or questions on ordinance 23-32? There is none. Directors? Then do I have a motion to place ordinance 23-32 on its third and final reading, suspending the rules and reading by title only?
So moved?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Smiley.
Yes.
Chrysler.
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Yes. Carroll.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 23-32?
So moved?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. Roll call.
Hunt.
Yes.
Chrysler.
Yes.
Smiley.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Ordinance 23-32 is approved. And Alan, I need to let you read this.
Ordinance number 23-32, an ordinance amending section 70-3 of the Siloam Springs City Code with respect to discharge of firearms within the city limits.
Thank you. Next is ordinance 23-33, third reading, amending City Municipal Code, Chapter 54, Land Use Code, Significant Development Definition. Megan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Megan Thomas, Planner 1. As she stated, this is the final reading for a code amendment to amend the definition of a significant development project. No changes have been made to the code amendment since the previous reading, and staff is still available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Directors? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to have comments or questions on ordinance 23-33? There is none. Directors? Do I have a motion to to place ordinance 23-33 on its third and final reading, suspending the rules and reading title only.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Hunt,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Chrysler,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Smiley.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Alan?
Ordinance number 23-33, an ordinance amending code section 54-11 to revise the definition of significant project.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 23-33?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Wiles,
Yes.
Chrysler,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes. Yes.
Smiley,
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Ordinance 23-33 is adopted. Next, ordinance 23-34, third reading, vacation of utility easements and alleyway, 800 block of East Jefferson Street. Megan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, Megan Thomas, Planner 1. This is the final reading for a vacation request to vacate easements in alleyway located at the 800 block of East Jefferson Street. Staff has not received any phone calls since the previous reading, and staff is still recommending approval with no needed conditions, and I'm available for any questions that y'all have. Thank you.
Thank you. Directors, comments or questions? There is none. Is there anyone in the audience that has comments or questions on ordinance 23-34? There being none, directors, do I have a motion to place ordinance 23-34 on its third and final reading, suspending the rules, reading by title only?
Moved. Second.
We have 2 motions and 2 seconds. Roll call.
Wiles,
Yes.
Chrysler,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Smiley.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Alan?
Ordinance number 23-34, an ordinance vacating and abandoning utility easements and right-of-ways at 800 block of East Jefferson Street.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 23-34?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Hunt,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Smiley,
Yes.
Chrysler,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Ordinance 23-34 is adopted. Next, ordinance 24-01, first reading, vacation of a utility easement, 816 East Main Street. Ben?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the board. Get this pulled up here. Thank you. So yes, thank you again, Madam Mayor. I'm sorry for the delay there, getting the PowerPoint pulled up there. But before you is a easement vacation, 816 East Main Street. This is to close an unneeded utility easement at that address. And that's to prepare for the site for redevelopment. Here is the site plan, and the easement in question is down at the bottom. Let me just point that out there for you. So, and then in this slide, this shows specifically the part of the building that's proposed, which will be later on in the agenda, that is encroaching into that easement, which is the reasoning for that request to be closed. The Board of Adjustment did approve on the same property setback variance, and that was approved on December the 12th. So this is just a closer view of that easement. And then the site view, that blue roofed building will be removed with the development. And of course, there's no utilities or anything like that, and the easement is entirely unneeded. Everyone has reviewed that and has signed off on that. Staff is recommending approval to close the easement with no needed conditions, and we stand ready for any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Directors, comments or questions? There being none, Alan, did you have a comment that you wanted to make? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address ordinance 24-01? There is none. Directors, any comments or questions? If not, do I have a motion to place ordinance 24-01 on its first reading, suspending the rules, reading by title only?
So moved?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Hunt,
Yes.
Smiley,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Alan?
Ordinance number 24-01, an ordinance vacating and abandoning utility easement at 816 East Main Street.
Thank you. Next is ordinance 24-02, first reading, amending section 102-21 of the City Municipal Code, rezoning from C2 to R4, 4290 Sherry Whitlock Drive. Ben?
Yes, thank you again, Madam Mayor, members of the board. Before you is a rezoning request, and this is to go from C2 roadway commercial to R4 multifamily in the area you saw highlighted there on the picture on the right. This is the survey that's proposed for the rezoning. As you can notice here, it's not the entire property, it's just the area that you have shaded there on the survey. The outside areas will be retained for future commercial uses, so only the interior area is going to be used for multifamily. And here you see the future land use map. And I'm going to go into a little detail on this one because it's a bit confusing, but I'll do my best to try to make it understandable. But so right now it is in the neighborhoods 2 class, and that class does not work for urban apartments. However, the applicant is actually wanting to do townhomes, and they're not necessarily apartments. And the R4 zone, which is the only zone that allows for the townhomes, does not fit with the that neighborhood's 2 designation. So they, because of the fact that they have to get multifamily for the townhomes, they need to go up a designation to neighborhoods 3, essentially. And I'll explain that a little bit more here. So you can see that neighborhoods 2 does allow for the townhomes, as I show in the red box, but not urban apartments. And so they would need to go to up a level to neighborhoods 3. And that's just needed because the future land use map change is needed to address the townhomes, which are only permitted in the R4 zone, which also by chance allows for urban apartments, therefore why you need to make the map change. So and this is the site that is proposed as it appears today. Staff and the Planning Commission are recommending approval, both the rezone and the future land use map change, and we are available for any of your questions. Thank you.
Ben? Directors, comments or questions for Ben? There being none, is there anyone in the audience that has a question or comment on ordinance 24-02? There is none. Directors, do I have a motion to place ordinance 24-02 on its first reading, suspending the rules, reading by title only?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Smiley,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Chrysler.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Alan?
Ordinance number 24-02, an ordinance amending section 102-21 of the Salem Springs Municipal Code, city zoning map, rezoning from C2 to R4, property located at 4290 Sherry Whitlock Drive, and amending the future landscape use map of Salem Springs 2040 Comprehensive Plan.
Thank you. Next are our resolutions. First is Resolution 02-24, significant development permit for 816 East Main Street, retail grocery store. Ben?
Yes, thank you again, Madam Mayor, members of the board. So this is now the significant development permit that I was alluding to earlier when we were doing the easement closures. This is the same property. This is the construction for a 5,800 square foot retail store, which is a redevelopment of a grocery store that's already on the site, and also to vary from the parking requirements, which I'll go over in a second. So here is the site plan that's presented. So access will be this is East Main Street on the top here, so access will be from either South Gunter or through an alleyway on this side, with people coming in because of the way the parking is presented on this side and then exiting out here. So the parking, here's the parking description as is kind of blowing up there. Essentially, with a store this size, they need 27 spaces, but due to the size of the site, they just really cannot accommodate that. The Board of Adjustment did approve a variance for some of this parking reduction. However, the lion's share of it does have to be done by the Board of Directors because you guys are acting as a permitting authority in here. Staff is in support of that just because of the site, and historically, the store has not required that many parking anyway. So we don't think that this is going to present too much of an issue out there for people using the store. Here is the landscape plan. As you can see, there's trees planted around the sides and the front, as well as some shrubberies. And then some of the elevations of what the store would look like. And just to give you some context of the existing conditions, this is essentially what it looks like today. So the new store would be roughly built around this section here, and then with the parking out in front and proper entrances and curbs and gutters and landscaping, and it will really clean up that site quite a bit. So, and then here is the site view, looking at the property. Staff is recommending approval with the conditions as stated within the memo, and we are available for any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Directors, comments or questions for Ben on this resolution?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I have a question.
Read.
Ben, I think I have an idea, but how does this significant development permit work when we're working on an ordinance right now? We've had one reading, we've still got two more to go. How do those correlate and work together?
Right, the conditions will address that. So you're approving under the condition that the easement is closed. So if,
The second,
should the
third.
easement not be closed, it would nullify this approval.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Lisa.
with the limited parking, how does that work with the loading in that area?
I believe the loading will be, this question came up at Planning Commission. I believe they're going to have loading out on this area right here, so, which is why they don't have parking laid out on that side. And,
Where's
they
the front entrance? Can you show us where the front entrance is again?
the front entrance, I believe, will be up around this area in here. And then they'll have
And the loading off to the side.
the entrance for the customers is what you're asking, that'd be right in this area. Is that what you're asking? I'm sorry.
Yeah, along with the loading, I mean, so they're going to be loading where the customers are coming in? Kind of?
That's what they were indicating, that they would have a loading dock area at this area on that side, because there just really isn't a lot of options, other places on the building for that to work. And I think they've, don't have, as I understand, it's not the traditional full grocery store like a Harps. It's a smaller store, so they're not going to have a lot of big deliveries, you know, on a routine basis. So
Is it a dock or is it a, What is the loading?
The applicant stated that they would typically load in there with the existing building. They don't have any kind of semi trucks that deliver to that grocery store. It's an existing grocery store. So their deliveries that they receive will stay the same. They get little box trucks that come in and drop off little minor deliveries at a time. And that's where they're doing it currently. And so they're just going to stick with what they already have existing. They don't anticipate any semi trucks going through there. Their deliveries will stay consistent with how they are. And they know what to expect from those deliveries because it's existing.
Right. Yeah, it's just a small box truck that will come in, so it shouldn't be too much of a trouble. Yeah.
Madam Mayor?
Anything else,
Are you
Lisa?
done?
No? Okay, Mindy?
So East Main Street is up above where the parking is?
Yes.
Okay. I'm supportive of new business and expanding this grocery store. I think this will be a good project for this area. I'm just kind of for future reference, I am a little concerned about the parking reduction. I know it can't be helped here, but the future reference part is, I do feel like there are places in town where we sort of have parking issues. And cars end up parking on streets because there's not enough either residential parking or small business parking. So I just want us to keep that in mind.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Yeah, Ben, if I may, or Mayor, this is something that's been a concern that I've talked to staff. We've had issues if you have two dually trucks parked in the parallel parking, there's hardly any room for a car to get through. So we are aware, I've talked to Chief Miller and staff, we're looking at different ways to park vehicles. We may lose some parking lots, but again, we've got to figure out a better way.
Yeah.
So we are looking at that.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to piggyback on what Mindy was saying, because this grocery store might be a grocery store right now, but in the future, it might be a coffee shop that has to house a lot of people, and we are limiting ourselves. And like you say, we have a parking issue in Salem, and so.
Anyone else? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address Resolution 02-24? There is not. Yes, sir. If you'd like to come to the podium and give us your name and address.
My name is Ray Hines. I live at 475-462 East 594 Road, Watts, Oklahoma. And I'm familiar with this location. My thought was that in the event of a coffee shop, they probably wouldn't need the same kind of loading situation, and they could repurpose that space for some more parking. That's really my observation, if that's the time to say that.
Thank you. Anyone else? If there is not, directors, any further comments or questions from you? Do I have a motion then to approve Resolution 02-24 for the 816 East Main Street Retail Grocery Store?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call.
Wiles.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Smiley.
Yes.
Chrysler.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Next is Resolution 03-24, Significant Development Permit, 1450 Sherry Whitlock Drive, Fire Station 1. Megan?
Sorry, I wanted to grab my planning commission notes from this project since this was presented earlier tonight.
You're fine.
Might get to that slide. Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Megan Thomas, Planner 1. This is a significant development request for property located at 1450 Sherry Whitlock Drive. The request is to construct a new 6,240 square foot fire station training facility, as well as to expand the existing Fire Station 1 structure by 4,890 square feet. This project was presented to the Planning Commission earlier tonight. They did have some discussion. All of the comments received from the commissioners were very positive. There were no citizens who commented on this project, and they did recommend approval of the project with the specified conditions in the staff report. So with that said, I'll get into this This is the overall site plan for the development. So I know this is very zoomed out, but I really just wanted you guys to see this so you can see the new proposed sidewalks that they have along Heartland Drive as well as along North Lincoln Street there to the south. And this is a more close-up of that site plan. This is looking west. The darker gray areas are indicative of the proposed additions, and the light gray is what is currently existing on the site. The proposed training facility is shown here. That's that larger building here. This is their existing fire tower. These 14 parking spaces shown here are proposed to serve that new training facility so that individuals can park there and just go to the training facility from there. The applicant is providing a sidewalk along Heartland Drive. As a condition of approval, they will have to acquire a access easement for certain areas of that sidewalk that are outside of the right-of-way. What happened with that was Heartland Drive was constructed prior to the city acquiring the right-of-way. So when we did acquire that right-of-way, it was along the drive and not along the property boundaries. And that's why we have some sections of that sidewalk that are outside of the right-of-way and some that are within it. And so that is a condition of approval for this project. And this is a much more clear site plan for you guys to look at. This is their dimension plan. So this red area here, again, is that training facility with the additional parking spaces that they're adding in for that. The light gray and that smaller building in the middle there, those are existing. And then this orange area here, that's an addition to the existing fire station as well as 4 new parking spaces. The reason for those 4 new parking spaces is because this orange area further north is existing. It's 4 parking spaces that's currently existing. They would like to enclose that in order to provide some covered parking for our city vehicles to park in there and protect them from the weather and store them in that area. But they are still making up for that parking down here. And this is a landscape plan for the development. So they are providing trees along all property boundaries for the site, which is a big improvement because right now we don't have any trees along Heartland Drive. So this will look much prettier when you drive down the street later on. And they are meeting all the landscaping requirements. We do have a condition of approval so that they can tell us what the distance is for those proposed trees from the existing water and sewer lines. And that's the only reason we really have that condition of approval. We just want to check on that and make sure everything's good. And this is the elevations for the training facility. I figured you guys already know what the Fire Station 1 elevations look like, so I'm just showing you the training facility, what's new, what's coming, so you can have an idea of what to expect. Again, a lot of the commissioners spoke pretty highly on this. And this is the site plan for the overall site view of the lot. So staff has not received any calls or correspondence on this request, and staff is recommending approval with 3 conditions as stated in your staff report. I've gone over 2 of those. And again, this project was presented earlier tonight to the Planning Commission. No comments were received from the public on this. Staff is available for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Directors, comments or questions? There being none, is there anyone in the audience that has comments or questions on this significant development permit? There is none. So, directors, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 03-24 with listed conditions?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Hunt.
Yes.
Wiles.
Yes.
Yes.
Chrysler.
Yes.
Yes.
Smiley.
Yes.
Motion is approved. And before we go on, I do want to go back and reference Resolution 02-24. And if I'm correct, there were some listed conditions on that also, and we did not include that in our motion. So I would like to make sure that we enter that into the record, that there were listed conditions. Do I have an approval from the first and second?
So moved.
Yes, okay. I don't think so. We'll just add it in to make sure that that was a part of the motion. That's why I just need to make sure that first and second agrees with that and.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. 02-04. Okay. So we're good.
Yes, I'm okay with that. That's what I
Thank
thought
you.
we were voting on anyway.
Okay. Thank you very much. We just want to make sure we get those listed in there. Next is Resolution 04-24, preliminary plat development permit, Siloam Springs Addition, 3861 Highway 412 East. Megan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a preliminary plat request to establish a Siloam Station addition located at 3861 Highway 412 East. The request consists of 5 commercial lots to be situated on 18.8 acres. Please note, this is the same property that was just recently rezoned to C2 roadway commercial, so the A1 zoning shown on this general area map is no longer accurate. I just kept it because it's a 30-day until the ordinance goes into effect, so I just wanted to make sure we were good. So this is the proposed preliminary plat for the site. This slide is showing the first 4 lots of the commercial subdivision. As you can see, the applicant is proposing a private street, which will provide access to the proposed commercial lots, as well as a shared access to the property to the east of this site. As shown, the proposed private street will have 2 drives accessing Highway 412, with 1 access shown here to the southwest, that's this one, and 1 shown here to the southeast. Additionally, shown here to the west of the site is a future street connection. That's what you guys approved, I believe, at the last meeting. So the city will be constructing a street to connect to Simon Sager Avenue to this development. The street connection will provide direct access from this proposed commercial subdivision. And this is the remaining Lot 5 of the commercial subdivision. All proposed lots do meet the minimum subdivision and zoning regulations that are set forth. And this is the overall site view of the property. As you can see, the property is currently vacant and is located in close proximity to several established commercial and industrial uses. As previously stated, the city plans to construct a street connection that will connect this development to Simon Sager Avenue in the future. This future street connection will be centered with the existing private drive located here to the west, and you can kind of see it, so it'll be centered with that, so it'll be aligned. Staff has received 2 phone calls of questioning nature on this request, and staff is recommending approval with no needed conditions. And staff is available for any questions that you guys may have.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Directors, comments or questions?
Madam Mayor, Megan, were the phone calls
The phone calls were asking what is going into those lots. Both phone calls were very positive, and they were excited and hoping that it was retail.
Okay.
I couldn't tell them exactly what was going on those lots, but they were questioning.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? If not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address Resolution 04-24? There being none, directors, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 04-24 with no conditions?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Miley,
Yes.
Chrysler,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Yes?
Wiles,
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Thank you. Next, we move on to our staff reports for our November financials and the administrator's report. Alan?
All right, thank you, Madam Mayor. In your packets are your financials. As usual, if you have any question about the financials, please feel free to reach out to Department teachers, and she'll be happy to answer any of those questions. I'd like to tell you about some expenditures. An expenditure for $51,020 for Southern States. It's a circuit switcher for the electric department. And then $41,500. It's a Skurlock box culverts for the Stubb Street. And hopefully our plan is to start that Stubb Street. You should start seeing some dirt being pushed. A lot depends on the weather, because all this wonderful weather it seems we're going to be having. So that may push it back just a little bit. And another one's $41,682, Pinnacle Emergency Vehicles, a stretcher and graphics for the fire department. $30,850 for iWorkQ, software renewal. That's for multiple citywide departments. Then $50,197.50. Simmons fuel rebate per 9-23-13 policy, airport. And the last one is $30,599.04. Titan, 8,000 gallons of 100 LL fuel for the airport. moving on, a lot of times I hear the directors talk about that we have just an amazing staff, and we do. This weather, it's really looks like it could get really cold. I think I'm looking at Monday, low of like -3, high of 9 degrees. But that doesn't stop our staff, our fire, our police, city workers keeping our roads, at night where we got up this morning and everything's running, a lot of public works. And that leads to, I just want to throw a big shout out to Public Works yesterday. We had a large water line burst, 8-inch pipe at Airport Road. And just fighting the elements, staff got out there and got that fixed in the middle of the day because we all know it was sleeting and cold. So just big thank you to them. We will get out there the final touches and fill everything back up once the area dries out a little bit. The second thing, just really wanted to thank the chamber. We as a city were able to host, the First Friday coffee, even the weather. It was really beautiful if you weren't here. The shades were up and the snow in the background, and Megan and staff did a really good job of helping chamber staff, and we still had 85 people come out, and it was just I really did. So I just wanted to thank Arthur and his staff. And something that's near and dear to my heart is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and just taking a moment to express gratitude and support for our men and women of law enforcement. Just a big thank you to them. Just for note, AML conference, I'll be leaving tomorrow around lunch, and then we'll be gone the rest of the week. I will have my phone and computer. If I don't call you right back, just leave me a message, and I'll get back as soon as we get a break. And then Monday, city offices will be closed. And what else? Again, I might not say this enough, but Barbara, we hired Barbara, we hit a home run. She's been doing a dual role for 3 weeks, and I get nothing but compliments, and I'm blessed to have her as my city admin. But trying to keep me in the right direction is not an easy task, and she does that. But just on top of that, just taking on the city clerk duties, big shout out for her. Thank you, Barbara. But not least, I'll get an email out to you for the chamber banquet. If we haven't done that, Miss Barbara will get that out tomorrow. See there? She's right on top of it. She hears me whisper it and it's sent out. But just, again, we'll get you all the details and everything there if you have them already. But other than that, I'll get with Megan and we'll probably do a PSA. Cold weather, the sleet and snow is fine. But when we talk about negative temperatures, just remind people when you're out driving, maybe put a couple extra blankets in your car, some coats, some gloves, some hats. You never know. I had a flat tire out of nowhere today in the cold weather when you're out trying to change that and different things. Or I remember as a young man, just my dad, I went out of the house to see my girlfriend in a pair of shorts and the T-shirt, foot of snow. He said, you better get something. Next thing you know, I ran out of gas. And thank goodness someone stopped to get me. So you just never know when something can happen. So just, our citizens, please be careful and prepare, and try to get a PSA out on that just for some tips in the weather. But other than that, thank you, board, thank you, staff. Turn it over to you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. So with that, we will move on to our director's reports. I do want to express our gratitude to our law enforcement, to our fire and rescue, to all of our men and women who serve this country and our community. We do owe you a debt of gratitude, and we thank you very much for that. With that, we will start with Mindy, come around, and we will end with you, Carol. And so, Mindy, you have the floor.
Well, I think I've probably said enough tonight, so I will just echo what you and Alan said about appreciation for our law enforcement officers and our city staff and the chamber for hosting the First Friday Coffee.
Thank you, ma'am. Ken?
That's exactly what I was going to say, and so I will pass it on.
Thank you, sir. Betsy?
Sweet. I have all kinds of time.
You have 3 minutes.
Dream on.
Start that timer.
First, I wanted to say thank you to Reed Carroll. He had a great idea. New Year's Eve, we had a gathering at the Healing Garden next to Parks and Rec, and it was beautiful and a great space. And a nice way to close out the year. So thank you for coming up with that. The pre-agenda meetings are great in a lot of ways. They make these meetings not as long, et cetera. But the part that bothers me about them, a couple things, is they're during the day when citizens can't be here. And we also do a lot of the discussion during those pre-agenda meetings, and citizens aren't part of that discussion. And I don't know if there's a way to include them, to make it better for the citizens out there who are listening. Some of them may not understand that the Wednesday before we have a board meeting, we have a pre-agenda meeting, and that's where we go over everything. We ask questions of staff, we have discussions. So those are, I think, are an especially good meeting to watch. You'll get a lot of information from them. Sometimes I try to repeat myself during director's comments or during other times to kind of fill people in a bit. But if you are into watching the meetings, the pre-agenda meetings are where a lot of the meat takes place. So, and like I said, if there's a way, if anybody comes up with a way to make it inclusive of citizens, that would be awesome. One of the things that was discussed this last time is the plasma gasification that Jason Davis brought up, and basically it would be, okay, I don't understand the science, so I'm not going to try to explain it, but it would take our trash, and possibly other cities would pay us to take their trash, and it uses plasma gasification to burn it down. Nothing's released into the atmosphere, totally green. And it breaks it down into coal, into other products that could be used to make roads, a variety of different things. Our landfills are getting filled up, and this would be a way to no longer be using the landfills. It has the potential to lower our utility rates. As I said to Jason earlier and Alan Gilbert, not often does something come along that would benefit every single citizen in town and the environment. So I would really like us to pursue that. And the city isn't made of money, so I don't know if, how much it's going to end up being, if we can do everything at one time. And I've said, I think the rec center is a great idea, but if we have to choose one over the other right now, I think Jason's idea has the potential to pay for the rec center, among a lot of other things. So Jason did a presentation at the last pre-agenda meeting, and it's worth watching if you haven't seen it. I also wanted to, I've said this to Jason, but he's awesome. He is wonderful. He is a do-it-yourselfer. Director Rissler's right. He has saved the city, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars already. And what have you been here, like 4 months or something? He's a do-it-yourself kind of person. And instead of outsourcing, he does it himself. And I just so admire that and appreciate that. And as always, thank you to law enforcement, to everybody who serves to keep us safe. We really, really appreciate y'all. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Betsy. Lisa?
So most people know that Scott Miller was named interim, and I just want to say congratulations. As of January 1st, congratulations on making chief. I appreciate that we promoted within. I've had a lot of complaints that, the city has gotten away from hiring local and promoting within, and so I appreciate that we have done that. It's like it's been said, Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and I did a post today, and I want to read the post, but it has been very active. A lot of people put down the police department, and because it's a negative job that you have to arrest people or give them a ticket. And so there's been a lot of positive compliments that I hope that you guys are reading. But what I posted was, thank you for all you do for every member of our community. You sacrifice for our safety. You provide protection to those that need it. You're always willing to help. No words can express the amount of appreciation you deserve. And I don't think there's anything that anybody can say to represent how thankful we are that we have a police department that goes above and beyond and protects us like they do. And so thank you, Scott, and to all your staff for everything you do. Betsy mentioned this earlier. Reed had a great idea, and I want to say thank you, Reed. Reed Carroll, Stanley Church, Tim Estes, and Delia Hawk, they invited the community to come together at the Healing Gardens. And we prayed out the old year and prayed in the new year. And it was such a touching experience. And I appreciate that you came up with the idea and that you invited all the community to come. And I hope next year, because I think you guys discussed doing it again next year, I hope it's so crowded we can't even hardly fit in the area. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Lisa. Reed?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I honestly thought Betsy would hit on this, but Cole, Alan spoke about people need to make sure we bundle up, but let's also be aware of our pets and animals, that they have a place of safety as well. So I'll do it for you, Betsy.
Thank you. You're right. I forgot.
And tonight with what we approved for Jason, not Kevin, I just wanted to speak to that because we're asking something from the employees of this city to do their work and to do it with excellence. And if we can't give them the right equipment and the opportunity to do things in excellence, I think we have failed. But I think with having both of the machines, that it will allow them that opportunity and to take pride in what you do. And it hits a lot of the buttons just fine, but it's also something that will actually have a very quick return on the investment and very, very possibly an income center even. So I think we hit a home run with that, and I look forward to it, and I hope that you'll keep some tabulation on it, because I want to hear some numbers. And if the better they are, the louder we can shout about it, because it's something that we do. When we talk about water treatment, we have a wonderful facility we just completed. The electric department is in a position to where when we have service that surrounds the city instead of just one way in and one way out, there's so many things that we have to shout about, but I didn't think I'd be so excited about sanitation or just about trash, but I think it's awesome what we're doing, and to see that come to pass when those get in place. I'd like to have a tour of it. Push any buttons, but just let me see what's going on. And to also know that I think it was Steve's group's going to help you put those in, saving money there again. And I know we've talked it maybe even to death, but I think we need to realize the full ramification that's going to take place with what's happening here, and how, yeah, it can make money, but it also will allow us to continue the excellence that we have as a city. And I'll be glad to stand right alongside with you guys when that happens. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Reed. Carol?
Well, I'm looking forward to the new year and the opportunity to serve our citizens. Thank you for our law enforcement. I appreciate it. Congratulations to Chief Miller. With the weather that we're having, it's so cold. If you have elderly neighbors, just neighbors, you don't see them, check on them. Make sure they're doing okay. It's important to make sure pets are okay too. They can't take care of themselves the way we can. So I know that I'm putting food out for animals that I know are Probably shouldn't be doing that, but I am, because they need food. And I want to thank our street crews, our utility crews. I know you're working out there in that frigid weather. Not something that I would relish to do, and I really appreciate that you take care of our citizens. It's going to get even probably colder, so we just do the best we can. And with that, I move that we adjourn.
Do I have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There is none. We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.